radio. We're going live, ladies and gentlemen. There we are. All right. Hey everybody, welcome to the imho.love show. I'm Lou Angelwolf. This is Mike Murburg coming to you live from Area 52 out here in beautiful at the Darby Ranch. And we're right in West Central Florida. It's the 5th day of May, Cinco de Mayo. And so we're not doing that, but we're doing this. So welcome aboard, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. IMHO, in my humble opinion, .love, because love's what it's all about. Love's what started it, and love is the ending of it all. So here we are. It's, like I said, the 5th of May, and we're in Central Florida, and it is hot already. So we got, we had, what, 88 degrees with a feels like of 101?
No, it's actually 96 here. Feels like 99, and that was just in the shade.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I was not working in the sun, which once again stupid of me, but you know, somebody's got to do it.
No.
Yeah, somebody's got to do it.
It's true, somebody's got to do it, but you push yourself too. You don't, you know, there's some things you should hire out.
Trying to find somebody to work these days is something
That's true.
I have no idea.
There's for hire signs everywhere.
Everywhere. Their restaurants closed because people won't work. They're still on unemployment.
Yeah, we went to, Billy and I went to Kickin' Wings today for lunch, and there was one guy, one waiter for, I don't know, he had 7 tables, 8 tables.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to a restaurant at Ralph's, you know Ralph's.
Yeah.
There were like 21 tables and people at the bar with one bartender / waitress.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Man.
That's nuts. That's
well,
nuts.
You know, folks, as you know, we're going under some sort of grand manipulation. I don't know exactly how it's, what it is. It's just, that's what 2021 is about. Getting used to seeing things that you aren't used to seeing. And them trying to create a new normal, whoever they are. Everybody's a liar, but yet everybody's got the coveted truth hidden in their cloak. And you can especially tell when they go like this, which means they really know something. So if you know what I mean, you and me, we got squares to talk about. So anyway, welcome to the show, folks. We are getting closer and closer to the disclosure that has been promised us at the beginning of this presidential term. June, they said.
Yeah.
What are they promising? Do you know what they're promising? What's the
same thing that a stripper promises when she's up on the stage. There's no difference. It's like different show, same stripper.
I mean, but that affects different people. I mean, sometimes
they're not promising anything. We're going to show you stuff. That's it.
And then all we get is minor trouser movement.
Yeah, they're supposed to divulge everything that they know, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, but here's the thing, and I guess that's the hardest part these days is for especially old birds like us trying to realize that nobody's really telling you the truth anymore, and everything is backed by an agenda or a mindset or a narrative, and really having to psychoanalyze every topic of everything it's exhausting.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy.
It's absolutely exhausting. But the thing that this show is about, watch your table. Is the CE5, which is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, or HICE, Human-Initiated Contact Experiences. And what we are as humans, realizing we have this grandiose spirit that lives inside of us, this life force, this incredible energy that moves us around with, you know, cognitive thought and sentient presence, and it's just an, you know, I marvel daily at my actual life, the fact that I'm alive, the fact that I'm living, and now we've been given this, I don't know, this multi-dimensional intelligence, so to speak, and this incredible spirit that just continues to, that's the thing, that's the one thing besides my ears that is growing. Your spirit is the one thing that's ever expanding. You never, there's always enough room for your spirit. It's like Jell-O pudding. There's always enough room for it. And no matter how big you make it, you can carry it with you. It's so portable. But what happens is the deeper and deeper you get into that spiritual journey, that personal journey, the more it literally does have a weight to it. It's a lot of effort sometimes pulling all that around.
Yeah, that's why you let it go.
Oh, the let it go part.
Yeah, a friend of mine, it's always nice, you know, to have other people posting the chapters of the Tao Te Ching. and this week a friend sent me one, and I worked it up a little bit, and you know, what we're talking about, this energy, this matrix, this the intelligence that flows through all things. You know, we're starting to know in science that consciousness is primary. We're in a post-materialist scientific era at this point in time.
Yes.
So we know that material is made up, it's not material, it's made up of waves, of vibratory frequency, gravitic waves, all kinds of waves. You know, what Lao Tzu taught us was that all things, he called them rays, but you know, you need to translate ancient Chinese. I really didn't think they, you know, had a word for quantum theory yet.
Yes.
But which brings us
rays is a fine description.
Rays is a fine description.
And frequency, and
yeah, it carries a lot of weight. But yeah, the part of the discussion this week that I was posting on was people are coming to the conclusion that we're entering a reality where we don't really have the terms to define what it is. So we're defining the language as we enter the paradigm. So you know, so this is a wonderful time, you know, to be alive and to be and to be awakened.
yes.
And cognizant as to what's going on. But this is chapter 25 of the Tao Te Ching, written by Lao Tzu. There was something formless and perfect before the universe was born. It is serene. Mind you, he says it is. Not that it was. It is.
Right.
Serene, empty, solitary, unchanging, infinite, eternally present. It is the mother of the universe. For lack of a better name, I call it the Tao. I mean, this is 500 BC, and they're talking about the universe, okay? As if this is not just the stars and the moon and the planets. This is the whole shebang.
Oh yeah, they understood the permeating oneness.
Right, right. And it flows through all things, which is exactly what you're talking about. Inside and outside, and returns to the origin of all things. Okay, this is the consciousness we're dealing with, and it's a perfect explanation for it. I mean, even Carl Jung didn't find a better description or explanation for what he termed God with a capital G. He refers to the Tao. The Tao is great, the universe is great, the earth is great, man is great. These are the four great powers. The Tao, the universe, earth, and man. And when you think about it, that's where all power comes from.
Sure.
Okay? There's nothing in between that provides the same. Man follows the earth follows the universe follows the Tao, and the Tao follows only itself. And there's some degree of wisdom in that. So
actually, an incomprehensible degree of wisdom.
Yeah, it takes a lot of study. But what I ended up doing, and this is kind of what I do with my unpublished books. If I ever die, go through this and pull the books and
Okay.
and
Don't die.
publish it out of my estate. Okay.
Okay, I
I'm sure
will.
there'll be a couple of shekels left over. So.
Okay.
But the lesson I came up with, and I'm guilty of creating the crib notes version, the Tao for Dummies, something like
Tao
that.
for Dummies. Wow.
It's like, but to follow the Tao is to be serene, empty, solitary, unchanging, infinite, and eternally present, and to know the truth that comes from a life lived in simplicity with patience and compassion.
Yes.
Do not hold fast to preconceived plans, notions, people, or things. Follow none but yourself. Abide fully in the Tao. To do so is to be fully at peace.
Hey,
The dude abides.
the dude abides,
There you
man.
go. And that's what he abides in.
That's what's really beautiful about it. And Mike, I have to tell you, just as a friend, and of course, your partner on this show, the revelation that you've given me about the Tao, through the Tao, because of the Tao, it really, this changes your chemistry as a person, okay? Yeah. And it's, it really kind of, it almost like adds facets to your personal dimension that you didn't have before. And like when you see in somebody struggle with hard things in their life, situations they've not in their favor, the way they're having to deal with a constant changing variable, pain, emotion, people that you love, all this harried vibration. I use that term sometimes. It's a harried vibration. It's not serene, it's not flowing, and it's abrasive and brusque. Okay? But the thing that over the last several years, as these things have permeated my mind, I have similar things come into my life, okay? And I handle them a lot better than I ever have. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for offering such a life-changing energy that you merely carry it with you, okay? And you've given it to me, okay? And together we give it combined to everybody that's watching or listening. And then on our daily lives, we offer it to people naturally, and it's really beautiful to watch somebody, to watch the lesson learned be exercised.
Yeah, and the Tao teaches us that you lead by example.
Yeah.
And and you lead from the back of the pack.
Yeah.
So, and it also teaches us the difference between humility and then being truly humble.
True.
And false piety and things like that. You start reading this and you get into it, but how it's important and how it dovetails into CE5 is because the Tao brought me into contact with the extraterrestrials once again. And I am convinced that the Tao Te Ching is the operating system for all the beings of universal knowledge in the multiverse. Okay. They get it. This is how things work. This is we all honor and go back to the same source. And now that we're broadcasting from the ranch here, when I was in Tampa and I was publishing my work every night or two, and eventually the ETs showed up and were so nice to give me the download and allow me to photograph the entity. That once again, what Lao Tzu teaches is that where the Tao is taught, that all the universal beings will come to honor the place in which it's taught.
Yes.
So if we are teaching the Tao here and we're putting it out on all kinds of airwaves, one way or the other,
sure,
the ET will come, the non-human intelligences will come, and they have. We've had remarkable things happening here. The ground entities that did not, we didn't know about or visit, a couple of years ago. We're all looking at the sky, but now they're all over. They're in the trees, they're on the ground, they're in the sky, and it's every time we have a CE5, it is something very, very different. And even though we're bringing in, out of our typical group of 35, 36 people, there'll be 20 new people there that that aren't real regular practitioners, and they don't know what to expect. But the results are still, phenomenal and worth talking about and worth celebrating.
Sure. And what it is, it's a natural energy engagement. Everyone that shows up for these things is just a wonderful being.
Yeah, you don't get here by being some kind of spiritual slouch.
Right, exactly. You know,
be a seeker, a wanderer.
And and we're not like UFO hunters. We're not like that. We're approaching it from a completely different angle. We're not here for the thrill of the phenomenon.
Well, just the names. I got into an argument of sorts today.
You?
Yeah, sort of, and about somebody using the term alien, and she was like, she joined the group. She said she was down at Clearwater Beach, and she made a flying saucer, in the sand, and she put CE5, and it came to my attention, and she says,
"Nice.
I wonder if the aliens will come." And I said, "Look, please don't use the word aliens because it's a foreigner. It can be xenophobic. Please use proper terminology like your star family, universal beings, celestial beings. Terms that don't separate you, that aren't dichotomistic. They're not dualistic." So she was like, "Yeah, I'm good with it." But somebody, just like I don't. This is what to mention anything on Facebook. Somebody comes in with like, "Dude, like you must be afraid of something." But all I could say was, "Yeah, people like you." It's like this is not need not be an argument here.
Right. Right. Exactly. Sure. And what that is, that's your awareness, that's your consciousness of just knowing and then sharing that. Alien is kind of a Hollywood term or whatever. And we're terrestrials,
right?
Okay, they're extraterrestrials.
Right. They just and sometimes they're on the Earth too. But here it is, like, hey, I think I want to see some aliens. Let's go UFO hunting.
We're not looking for those people.
Really, that's not where you need to be.
No, but
I mean, it's an entry form of this, but
right.
I mean,
not that those people don't get results at times.
And ET does not like to get shot at. It's like they don't want to be hunted, just like Bigfoot. Why do you think you don't see him?
Do you really, Buck? Do you think your Remington 810 is
870
going
pump,
whatever it is? Yeah, and but people react out of fear, okay? And that's why, and also Hollywood has taught us to shoot at them.
Yeah, and fear sells, and so does ammunition.
Yeah.
Try to buy a box today.
I know. It's yeah. Well, the way our group approaches all this is we understand as best we can on a daily basis, and your knowledge and your consciousness and your awareness grows on a daily basis. And as you become more accepting of the world and more understanding of the world and less of yourself and more part of the whole thing, the oneness of it all, you realize that you have this here. You're here on Earth. You're a terrestrial on Earth. Okay? Knowing that the energy is infinite, that it's got to go up and it's got to go down and it's got to permeate everything.
It's all over.
So the fact that we think it's confined to under the firmament, okay, I don't believe that at all. So as we started looking past this place for the next place or another place or our old place or our future place, that mental mobility of taking yourself, going, okay, I get the earth vibration. It's harsh sometimes. It's beautiful sometimes. The world is full of love. The world is full of pain. The world is full of truth. The world is full of lies. And it's all those things. It's not any one thing. There's no way you can exclusively have one without the other. In our effort to propagate a peaceful vibration, we do try to tamp down the violence. We do try to tamp down the hate. We do try to tamp down prejudices and misunderstandings and bad opinions and, just the harshness. The world is harsh enough as it is, but amongst us humans, we have the ability to share this beautiful energy. So, in steps the CE5 movement, close encounters of the fifth kind, or human-initiated contact experiences. We meet as a group, we have a meditation, we do our best to send our consciousness up as a oneness, as a group, as a collaborative energy effort. And there's always some things. There's always some tap on your shoulder. And now some of the guys have the infrared cameras, and there's stuff showing up all over the place.
And the iPhone 12 too. The iPhone 12 is a great sphere of light that it picks up.
The iPhone 12.
Yeah, the iPhone 12.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and that's Floor got those pictures of LaBelle, the entity on the ground that.
Yeah.
That was an iPhone 12.
Wow.
A simple iPhone 12. Getting back a little bit, there's not much difference between the Tao Te Ching and the things that we learned. I was raised Roman Catholic, and the first thing you learn out of the Roman Catholic Catechism as a child is that God is the supreme being who made all things. Okay, just substitute Tao in there. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
And then and God is everywhere, and
omnipresent,
omnipotent. And if you're an animist, if you're a Native American sort of kind of guy, God is everywhere and in all things, if you take it the next step. So there's really no difference between, what I've learned and what I was taught as a young boy. Religion kind of, after it introduces you to God, then it says, okay, that's all you need to know. Now we're going to indoctrinate you into the doctrines of this church, and
sure.
And you will suffer and be guilty forever because you're a Catholic.
So. But, fear is a good manipulation tool.
Of course, yeah, it sells indulgences.
Sure.
And
everybody thinks that they're just within the parameters. They're just going to slice it close enough.
Well, it's a great religion if you're in the mafia or if you're in the CIA. You off a couple of guys, and then you go into the priest. You say your confession, two Hail Marys and 4 Our Fathers, and you're done with it. You're good.
Wow.
Yeah, and you can go into heaven again.
Mike, that doesn't sound like a legit system to me.
No, but as long as you're exactly. But look,
But what I'm saying is, what's black is white, what's white is black, what's negative is positive, what's positive is negative. Not everything. Excuse me for indulging in hyperbole.
Almost everything.
Almost everything is. So much of it is an opposite of what it really is.
Yeah.
Okay. So consequently, if you look at it like that and you accept a couple of things like that, you go, okay, so it's not my walk with the Creator Spirit, okay, is not this channeled maze that these people have laid out for me. Now, if you go through it, it'll keep you busy for plenty of years. But what happens is, as you draw back, okay, and this is the key for me anymore. It's the end of your ego. When you're down there running the maze, you're full of ego because you have to complete this task. You have to make it through this process. You have to prove to yourself all these things, okay? While you're running through the maze, while you're reading the books, while you're reading the schisms, jisms,
The Cadams.
the cadams, macadam. So
Black top to white top.
my mother told me when she was a kid they used to chew the tar off the road.
Yeah.
The road would bubble up, and they'd walk and pick up a piece of tar and chew
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's when chewing gum was like really expensive.
Dude, these upstate New York farmers, man. They were
Yeah.
broke.
Well, you know, they used coal tars early on in the 18th and actually the 19th and the 20th century to make a number of medicines for people.
Oh,
So yeah, so you know,
Yeah.
maybe there was something in the tar that they needed, that their systems needed, that they wanted.
tarnation.
Tarnation.
So,
That's funny.
but so okay, you run through all the mazes, and you do your bending and genuflecting and your daveting and all these things. You do all these physical annotations of the things that you're learning. But what happens then, you start pulling back, and that's what kept happening to me. I kept going back and back and back, and it literally is like peeling an onion. But when you get to the Tao, okay, it doesn't insist on anything.
Right.
And it leads you and lets you know, or lets you decide what is evil and what is wrong.
Well, you don't even have to label it.
Right.
It is what it is. The master sees things for what they are.
Yes.
It doesn't have to. There is no good. There is no evil. Example is Hitler. Yeah. Oh yeah. He's evil. He's terrible. Killed millions of people, and a whole bunch of them were Jews. Well, if it weren't for Hitler, there probably wouldn't have been the United Nations establishing the State of Israel.
Right.
So on the back of every catastrophe, there's an opportunity for somebody, and that's just the way it is.
Sure.
So, you can call people whatever they are. But
And it's not even the Hitler thing to blur that line. Don't want anybody to think that that's part of our agenda. It certainly isn't. You go back through history, you'll see. Well, you're a history major. That you see governments moving against people over and over again all the time while the Tao is still in effect.
yeah.
Okay, so, but what happens in the world is, there have been so many bigger atrocities at that, but that one's the one that has the most press.
Well, at least in this century. I mean, we had people like Attila the Hun and Genghis Khan, and I don't remember which one of them had red hair and green eyes, but I was reading this week.
I think it was Attila the Hun.
Was it Attila the Hun?
I think.
Once again, a white guy killing millions of people. But you don't look at Attila the Hun as a white guy.
Right.
You always look at him as an Asiatic.
He's always drawn that way.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So once again, race is absolutely immaterial to man's inhumanity to his fellow man.
Yes.
I mean, people of the same color have been wiping each other out, especially in the 20th century. We had the Communist Revolution, 50 to 100 people murdered. They were all Chinese, killing Chinese.
Yes.
All right, there weren't any white guys involved in that. And same thing with Russia. White guys killing white guys.
Missed it.
Pol Pot.
Yeah.
Asiatics killing Asiatics. It's always been that way. I mean, nothing in mankind. You don't need a race to trigger. Race is a very false way to dualize humanity and dichotomize them unnecessarily. That's why labeling things is so dangerous.
Yes.
So, getting back to the topic, we had Harry Reid talking about disclosure this week, and you had the Stephen Greer thing going on, saying, yeah, false flag. Actually, no, that would be funny. False fag. That would be a transvestite. Bruce Jenner running for senator.
Yeah.
That's
but I don't think he's gay.
No, he's not. But that's why he would be a false fag.
Right. Run it right up the pole. See who salutes.
But exactly. He still got his pole too. So it was like Harry Reid. Okay, Harry Reid comes out and he says, They're coming in, about the UFOs. They're coming in swarms, like bees, like insects, so many of them. Always remember Russia and the Soviet Union is run by a man who ran the KGB. In basically the same sentence. It's like H.W. Bush,
Right.
President of the United States, didn't run the CIA.
Right.
It's
Right.
like that's what these people do.
Right.
And then don't bring in this, don't.
Well, Putin ran the KGB.
Right.
Right.
Right. And that's the way it works. That's the way it's worked for us. That's the way it works for them. That's the way the intelligence apparatus has taken control. But the thing is like they're trying to make this into an intelligence failure, and saying, "Oh my God, it's not an intelligence failure. It's a spiritual failure." Okay, it's a complete spiritual failure. Whenever you have a war, it's a complete spiritual failure because you see another as other, not the other
Yes.
person as yourself,
Yeah.
an extension of yourself.
Yeah.
And and that's why this whole thing coming out of the government is going to fail. We had, for example, 9/11. We had the 9/11 Commission, which was underfunded and didn't come to the conclusions that would have been supported by science. So if you're looking for a government explanation, you're going to get 9/11 Commission all over again.
Yeah.
You're going to get the Warren Commission all over
Right.
again. So don't get your hopes up, and don't expect the Vatican to show their cards either. I mean,
Right.
they've got more of this stuff in their vault than the United States has ever had. They've got centuries of it.
Yeah.
So when the Library of Alexandria burned, that's where the texts were taken before the library was torched. So don't expect much out of disclosure, I guess, is the bottom line.
And it's funny. People go, "Oh, you guys talk about aliens." They use that word. And and how do you know, man? You've never seen one. I'm like, well, you know what though?
I have.
You have. I know you have.
I've seen a couple of them, a few of them.
You've actually seen them in their form.
And one of our close friends had an experience, a very reliable close friend, had an experience this last month with a gray.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
That person and that person's group.
Wow.
Yes. So things are getting close and personal.
Yes. And I saw an amazing meme, and I didn't have a chance to research it or anything, but it said that with our incredible vision ability that we have, but with just the limitation of our eyes, okay, which are to me just so absolutely colossal, enamored by their creation. I mean, there's not a more beautifully designed thing in the world than the human eye, I don't think.
Yeah, well, I like the eagle eye too. That's
The eagle eye with the extra little...
and the fact that you can see 12 miles away by squinting.
That's why, well, all the pagan sun worship cults, so many of them, including our country, the eagle is their mascot or their bird of whatever. And then you have the double-headed eagle, okay, and but the reason, in the United States originally, our national bird was going to be a turkey.
Yeah.
Because
it was Ben Franklin's idea.
Ben Franklin, because it's plentiful, it's this and that, and it shows bounty.
And did you know that the turkey was not discovered by the Pilgrims?
No.
Yeah, there was the turkey had been domesticated in Europe 100 years before the Pilgrims ever got here. They'd taken it back from, I believe it was from the eastern coast of South America, and brought it back and domesticated. So by the time the Pilgrims left Holland, they weren't eating goose anymore for Thanksgiving, or not Thanksgiving, for dinner. They're eating turkey.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was like, this is not something new.
And the Native Americans had how many turkeys here already?
Yeah, they had lots of different kinds.
They just...
It's like...
No, these are our turkeys.
It's like,
don't pay any attention to those guys.
They brought their own turkeys. It's like, and they're white.
Yeah. So... All right, where were we at? We got to the Native Americans. We got back to the turkeys.
Sorry.
It's okay. Where was I headed?
It wasn't the Thanksgiving, but
No, the turkey. Okay, that's what it was. Ben Franklin, our national bird, was going to be the turkey.
yes.
Okay. They chose the eagle instead. A, because the eagle's a scavenger predator.
Right.
Okay. 2, because there's a special little sheath that goes over an eagle's eye that allows it to look directly into the sun. That's the big selling point.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that little extra eyelid that comes over on an eagle, it can look directly into the sun. So now, if you're a sun worshipping cult, okay,
Yeah.
which is all
You're probably blind.
Euro, paganism, however, wherever it was born, how many hundreds of years ago, before whoever, that would be your mascot, because that's like, who else can do that, And of course, they're vicious flyers, and Jimmy Schubert does a great bit about they mate in midair,
Yeah.
and they don't let go till somebody finishes.
Yeah, and when you see them like swooping on down, and they pick up a goat off the side of a mountain and then fly it on up and then drop it from like 8,000 feet, and they kill it. So, they're pretty awesome. Did you know that the eagle has to form a new beak halfway through life? That their beak kind of rots out on them, And in order to, so they don't die and so they can hunt and fish and eat, they have to, go to a very hard rock, and they keep on crashing their beak against the rock until the beak comes off and it's reformed and it grows back again. But they have to do that in order to regenerate it.
Well, how long is that? What's the?
I don't know. What
Couple months?
What do I look like, an ornithologist? It's like, no, it's just like one of the pieces of flypaper that I rolled out for you, Lou.
I'm just picturing.
I'll have to look it up.
I'm just picturing the eagles walking around during that. Excuse me.
me.
I think you're in my net. That's my net.
Prove it.
Can you make me something soft? I lost my pecker. It's time for me to get a new pecker.
It's funny.
So you're exactly right. You got Harry Reid. Jury's out on that guy. I don't know what his deal is.
Yeah. Well, he's been sucking tit on the military-industrial complex since 1987 when he first became a senator, and he's a pretty important guy. He was this Senate minority leader, I believe it was, from last 12 years of his tenure in the Senate. But what I wanted to bring up was I did get a chance to check out the movie Bob Lazar on Netflix this week. I liked it. I liked it a lot because it answered
Dreamland.
What's that?
Dreamland.
No, that was the book that he wrote about himself. But this movie, let's see. I got a note here who did it. It was surprising though. The guy that did the movie is like a fashion designer. And
Jeremy Corbell.
Right.
He's kind of a UFO, kind of a poser guy.
But he made a good movie here, and Bob Lazar was in it, and helped it along. But it was really, who's the guy? No, not Bob Lazar.
George Adamski.
No, George Knapp.
George Knapp.
It answered a lot of questions. And if you want to know how the crafts that he worked on and retro designed, and the ones that were UFOs, bona fide UFOs, how the gravitic propulsion device runs, it's really kind of cool. He explains it all. And he also explains element 115 and how the UFO craft were using stabilized element 115, and we've managed to invent it and manufacture it, but we haven't stabilized it yet. So, but he gets into that, but it's kind of cool. What he says is the craft, when they power up, they go from a horizontal plane to the Earth to a 90-degree angle, and the gravitational way that they create is put in front of the craft, and the engine, the nuclear engine in the craft, it is nuclear of sorts, follows the gravity wave.
Wow.
As it constantly puts it in front of it.
That makes sense.
So it's like putting the carrot in front of the donkey, and then the donkey takes off after it. You know?
Wow.
But the craft goes like that, and then,
Man.
goes like that. Yeah. So I was surprised to learn that, because we've seen some power-ups, and at night you can't see what the craft is doing when it's powering up. And then in the daytime, when they're flying around, just, hovering around, and then when they get the hell out, then all of a sudden you see they turn into a ball of light, and then you don't know what's behind the ball of light,
Right.
but that he explains what they're doing back there. So
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, Bob Lazar, if you've never studied him or looked him up, a really, really interesting guy. There'll be stories out there that he's a crackpot, that he's a child molester, that he's a this and that and the other
wasn't a
thing.
child molester, no, but he did get involved in a
Love triangle?
yeah, something like that. It was like helping somebody form a house of ill repute, in Nevada.
Oh.
In Nevada, though, so it's like,
It's legal.
well, yes, but you gotta, But that was a stupid kid trick that he,
It's a tainting
no doubt
of your
about it.
legitimacy.
Yeah, it is, but I think he's bona fide. Okay, if I'm proved to be wrong, okay, I got fooled 100%, but I think he's proved his bona fides.
Okay.
So I recommend it to watch it if you don't know who the guy is or what it's all about, in Area 51 and what they're doing there and what they've done there. Go watch it. It's on Netflix. It's not going to cost you anything, and put your $14.99 a month to good use, and
Sure.
watch the movie. So.
Yep. That's he went through a lot, man, and he has suffered with his energies and his disclosures. And the thing about there's so many things about it, but one of the things about it is understanding what this actually means to the world. Is there will come a day, and see, here's the thing, our star family, our extraterrestrial friends, whomever, they don't need the governments of this planet to legitimize their existence. When it is time for us all to know who's who and when, it will be that way. It will be announced. It will be, you won't be able to escape it. But what happens at that point is, when the whole world realizes that there is a grand power, more than anything that they've ever known in their life, more than they've ever even ventured to imagine, okay? Everything, I mean, that literally could put the world into absolute chaos.
Yeah, it'll certainly turn religion on its head.
Religion would be storybooks at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Monetary systems would be game board pieces at that point.
And then when the 0-point energy devices come out, then we're no longer paying for energy, so we get lifted up into the next level of civilization.
Okay.
Now the next question is that's one of the reasons why we haven't gotten the technology that we would have liked, supposedly from ET, is that we're spiritually not ready to handle it yet.
Yeah.
We still have nuclear weapons that are aimed at each other in hopes that they'll be used someday by the military.
Good thing bombs don't get stale, or do they?
Well, I don't know. Probably, but the good thing is that ET has managed to shut down all the weapons silos and knock our rockets out of the air. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's documented. So, so the fact that they're evil? No. If they were evil, they would have, torched us years ago.
Yeah. Well, they have the vastness of the universe. They know one thing that would just turn this thing into a smooth bowling ball.
Yeah, and if they're Taoists, like I suspect, they'd be saying, why would we want to nuke you? I mean, that's, so unnatural.
Right, exactly. Well, it's not our nature to destroy.
Right, exactly.
It's our nature. And if they, see, that's what's so beautiful about the Tao. Like I said in the beginning of the show, there's always always room for expansion. You can carry all this knowledge of the universe with you on a moment-by-moment basis. And when you do, you know, if you ever see me just sitting in the truck, just looking out the window, radio off, might have the climate control on, I don't know. But I'm just enjoying the moment. Just realizing where I'm at, what's going on, all these cells in my body, all this blood pumping through my heart, all these things firing in my brain, taste buds, everything's going on. And it's just this absolute wonder of life that I really can't get over. And I feel so blessed to be part of the CE5 thing, because this is the next level. When all that confusion of religions and doctrines and falling in love with governments, let them take care of you, those kind of things, when all that stuff falls to the wayside and you realize that you're this incredible being that's just been manipulated, you're going to be a little mad. You're going to be a little mad, but let that go by quickly, because you had to get a little mad to learn. So now when you learn and you realize the grandness of all this, that it's way bigger than you ever thought, and all of us kooky ET people, all that stuff, we still love you, man. We understand. We were once asleep as you are, and it's not a bad thing. It's just the vibrations that you're dealing with, that you're accessing right now, and that's where you are. And I know that hate and condemnation, those are lower vibrations that a lot of people still deal with over inner pain, over not knowing. But what happens is, after years of higher vibration, you notice those lower vibrations very quickly, and I move away from them. I'll endure something with somebody if they need help and support, but it's going to end for me. I won't be a daily participant.
Well, I forgot who the author was, but the name of the book is The Bible for Men, and it was an operating manual for
you gave it to me.
For males. Yeah. Well, hopefully you'll read it, or have read it.
I've read some chunks.
Okay. Well, one of the main premises for the book is that he calls them negative inanimate spirits. Greed, jealousy, envy, anger. These are all negative inanimate spirits. I mean, they were inanimate spirits.
Spirits. Okay.
Yeah, and they were, the spirits were worshipped as gods by the Greeks. You could name who was, Zeus was the big guy who got angry a lot. So you could identify them, with in their godlike forms, and God with a small g, not a big G. But what he said is that once you feel the negative inanimate spirits, let's say like jealousy, I don't get jealous. What happens is, if you feel that spirit of jealousy, you have to embrace it and know it for what it is. So the next time it comes into your realm, that you can identify it more quickly.
Yeah.
And you embrace it and let it go. Embrace it and let it go. And eventually, once you can identify it, you don't have to embrace it anymore. You just let it pass.
Yes.
Okay. And that's how, as a human being, you regain your power. Separate and apart, and separated from your ego. So you go back into spirit, and then you let your ego go, and you don't have to deal with these negative inanimate spirits anymore. But knowing what they are is important.
Indeed. Jealousy is like the dross of love. Okay? It's jealousy is the impurity that comes with a love emotion. Okay? And again, when you find the source of jealousy, it's ego.
Yeah, it's all ego.
You can't. There's nothing about jealousy that isn't ego.
Same thing with anger.
Yeah, sure. I'm right, damn it. Hey, do you think Zeus was just trying to get rid of those lightning bolts? I got all these damn lightning bolts. I got to get rid of these things.
No, he was just an asshole.
He was that.
He was just an asshole. Yeah.
Yeah, there have been plenty of followers.
Yeah.
And Rottweilers named that.
Yeah. And the people that own them. no, that's because he takes a god awful crap. It's just like,
yeah, Rottweilers poop a lot.
Yeah, well, that's why you name him Zeus. You know.
Zeus the poop machine.
Yeah. might not fart.
How are we doing on time?
I think we're running up on time to wrap it up. So
okay. Thank you for tuning in to the imho.love show. I do want to send out some love to a friend of mine's family and all of us in the comedy community. Dave Kinney, really, really funny comic, died a couple days ago of a heart attack, and really too young. He was such a great guy. He was that quintessential blonde surfer dude that was funny. You know, he really had a great wit. And Dave passed quickly. I don't know if this has anything to do with it. I'm not drawing any conclusions, but he did get his vaccine 2 weeks ago, and he died of a heart attack 2 days ago. So I don't know. I'm not saying nothing, but he was a young man.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Sorry to hear it.
So yeah, and I think that kind of completes our trifecta for now. We had Mitchell Walters pass about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. We had Carl LeBeau pass last month, and now we have Dave Kinney. Well, Mitchell was a little older, but you know, these guys were comedians, and Mike and I are comedians. And we also look at ourselves as social paramedics. The fact that we can make a room full of people laugh and forget about the doldrums and everything you watched on CNN that day, we feel blessed and we feel gifted, and we're ever thankful for watching the show, whatever it is, and those of us that thank you openly, we thank you openly, and those who, you know, not there yet, then that's I'm sure they do, because without you, we don't have a game. And I did a show Saturday night. I got another one coming up on the 27th. I did a show Saturday night at a place called the Wild Rover out in Oldsmar. There was supposed to be a pretty big office party, but it was like it got booked over or something. So we had a sparse crowd, but a really fun place. And there was small people, or small group of people that came to see it. But just that little nucleus of people sitting and laughing and having an ale and sitting amongst friends and eating, and it really, as far as the human experience goes, I think it's one of the better ones.
Cool.
And I'm blessed to do comedy shows anytime I can, and I'm ever thankful. And my calendar's starting to light up a little bit, so pretty happy about that. But like I said, I did want to send my condolences out to Dave Kinney's family and all the comics that I know are, you know, kicking stones over his passing. So, Dave Kinney, we love you, and we always will, and you'll always, we'll see you again, dude. You're part of the whole thing. And also, ladies and gentlemen, the show, Kathy McGuire booked that show, and she did a great job. And she is a tremendous singer, dude. She plays with a guy named Dave Toro, who's an incredible guitar player. This guy's, you know, he's big league guitar player. And they just do a duo. And they played Gimme Shelter, the two of them, the old Rolling Stones song. And Dave sang leads, and Kathy sang backup. And if you know the backup in Gimme Shelter, it's awesome. And she just nailed it. And just that wave of she was putting so much energy and so much concentration into it. I was feeling it. I was like, my eyes got a little watery. Of course, I'm kind of a sensitive guy. So, but just watching her perform and watching her kick ass was really beautiful. And then we had a great comedy show. Michael Murillo, great dude, love him, always funny guy. Trish Keating, who's a theater instructor, teacher, and very, very funny lady. And then they gave me the stage and the mic and had 45, 50 minutes of beautiful fun. And, good show. And so those things, folks, laughing with friends, congregating with friends, breaking bread with friends, that's a lot of what your human experience is about on the interactive level. And do choose your friends well. I think it was Napoleon Hill that said you become the average of the 5 people you hang around the most. So if you're hanging around 5 millionaires, you'll become the 5th millionaire. If you're hanging around 5 drug addicts, you'll become the 5th drug addict. You know, you're next. You're next. And that energy that you create for the people that you are around, you're responsible for that. And I know a lot of people are getting over a lot of pain, but there's an incredible amount of people that are being awakened. There's an incredible amount of people really, really getting right and in tune with the universe. Our CE5 group, absolutely beautiful. If you're interested in the CE5, send Mike an email at darbyranchce5@gmail.com. That's DARBYRANCH5, the number 5, at gmail.com. He'll send you the protocols. We meet once a month. Consequently, this month, I'm not going to be here for it. I'm flying out to Denver, and Christine and I are going to do a CE5 in Taos that same night. So we'll be with you. We just won't be here. So I've been wanting to go to Taos, and that poor girl needs a break. And so it's time for some beautiful stargazing and of course the CE5 experience. We'll let you know. We'll let you know what happens, and I'm sure it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, get some good stars out there.
Yeah.
Well, concluding note: don't forget to thank your Creator when you get up in the morning.
Amen.
Follow the Tao.
Yep.
Make your own path, and don't care what others think about you.
That's right. That's right. Everything's got to be okay with you. If everything's okay with you, what other people think, that's okay. They can think it. It's not up to you. It's not us. It's not even about you, really.
And you've got no control over it anyway.
No, you certainly don't. You certainly don't. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. I'm Lou Angelwolf. That's Mike Murburg. This is the imho.love show. That's the homepage, imho.love. .love is a suffix you can get instead of .com or .net. In my humble opinion, .love. And then the show is rebroadcast on YouTube. Of course, Facebook Live that this medium is bringing you. And then it's shared on BitChute and Podbean. So you can get to all of them however you want to listen to it. Share it, like it, subscribe, whatever you care to do, however you want to do it. We love hearing from you. We are going to set up a different camera thing so we can converse during the show very soon. But we also enjoy our diatribes.
Yeah.
So
the production levels will be increasing. So
yes.
Stay tuned, and don't forget to like us, subscribe. We're on YouTube, right?
YouTube, yes.
Okay, good.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, and have a great week, and be wonderful. What was that one?
Earn free crypto just by learning about it. Coinbase Earn is the fast, easy, and rewarding way to learn about crypto.
Brother. Eric, love you, brother. You post some beautiful stuff, man. You really do. Thank you so much.